Hey everyone, it's Justin and Jordan here from LitTube, and we are breaking down the first pick in the NFL draft, 2020 NFL draft. And the Cincinnati Bengals selected Joe Burrow. It was rather predictable. Pretty much everybody saw this one coming. I have some things to say about this, but first I'll defer to you, Jordan. What's your initial reaction?
Yeah, I think it was the no-brainer pick for the Cincinnati Bengals, who are sort of going through a transition right now. Andy Dalton's on his way out. He might even get traded in this draft to make room on the payroll. And here's a guy that led the college football all time, I think, in a single season for passing yards, for touchdowns, for passing touchdowns. So they're getting an absolute stud, national champion, the Heisman. And it's a chance for the Bengals to kind of hit the restart button on their organization. And it's interesting. It now puts 3 Heisman winners in the AFC North, along with Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. So it's suddenly a really interesting division with some really good young starting quarterbacks. Now, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm coming from a perspective that I think it's an unfortunate situation that the Bengals were in the sense that this quarterback class, there is not a single quarterback prospect, in my view, that has no red flags on their profile. I do not see that guy that's the no-brainer, has to go number 1 overall type of selection. Now, Burrow, like you said, he had the best season in college football history. 65 total touchdowns, through single-digit interceptions, won a national championship. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. But the problem is he didn't do that till his 5th year in college. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, when he first came in as Ohio State, he redshirted. Then he basically sat 2 years behind Dwayne Haskins. And then you ask yourself, well, why was that, right? And I think that's a big red flag when you're drafting. This guy seems, I can't argue with what he did last year, this most recent season. It was an amazing season, the best we've ever seen for a quarterback. But the fact he's a late bloomer, that is a big red flag for me. And then I also look at, to a lesser degree, he has small hands. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but that does correlate also with how good you're going to be as an NFL quarterback to a certain degree. But for me, mostly it's the fact that it wasn't until his 5th year where he really broke out. He was okay the year before that when he started, but you're talking, he was in college 5 seasons and only started 2 seasons. It's just, that to me is too much of a red flag to want to take a guy like that number 1 overall. I understand why they did it. They're boxing a situation. They really need a quarterback, but I just think it's unfortunate because it's not that draft class where you have Peyton Manning or Kyler Murray or some other quarterback like that that's a no-brainer first pick overall.
For sure.
That's how I look at it.
And I'm intrigued to see how he, begins his career, because I believe they're probably just going to give him the reins out of the gate. But with the whole coronavirus, who knows when they're actually going to see the football field. There's definitely not going to be any rookie mini camps or anything like that. So he's got to get quickly up to speed very fast with very little time to do it, and learn an NFL playbook. And this spring training camp games are going to be really interesting when he's going up against legitimate NFL stars on defense, which he's never really seen before.
Yeah, and that is a challenge that all the rookies in this class will have to face, but particularly for a quarterback prospect like Joe Burrow, where I think about the late breakout, the fact he was a late bloomer in terms of winning a starting quarterback job in college. And we do know that most great players, the great prospects from college that go on to be great NFL players, usually are drafted in their junior season. They're usually drafted after their 3rd year.
Sure.
And this is a guy that isn't getting drafted till his 5th season. So it's a big concern for me, but there's been other late bloomers. Carson Palmer, who was a Bengals player, he was a late breakout in college. So, I mean, can he be an above-average starting NFL quarterback? I think so, but I do not see, Hall of Fame potential in this guy. I really don't.
Well, if you're the Bengals, you certainly hope he is at least above average, because you're pretty much putting all your future into that. Yeah, they had a chance to take Chase Young, who I think is going to end up being the number 1 player out of this draft, kind of like Khalil Mack was a few years ago for the Raiders. And I think we'll see. If time will tell, obviously, whether Joe Burrow is the next Peyton Manning or if he's the next Andy Dalton.
or something in between. We'll just have to see. But I guess that's going to do it for this one. We're going to have more videos like this one coming out throughout the rest of the night. Stay tuned, everybody.